Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Unity of Command 2 because today is a pretty big day for this game. A brand new DLC comes out today that is Unity of Command 2 Barbarossa. The game is the DLC is a expansion of the game that pushes the war out to the Eastern Front. So the base game of Unity of Command 2 just looks at the Western Allies in sort of North Africa, Sicily, Italy, France, the Low Countries, and then into Germany, whereas Unity of Command 2 Barbarossa is the second DLC, which comes out for the game. The first one is called Blitzkrieg, and it looks at the German invasion of Poland, the Low Countries, France, Norway, the Balkans, basically 1939 to 1941. In Unity of Command 2 Barbarossa takes that in 1941, starting in June with the German invasion of the Soviet Union, and continues that through to the Soviet counteroffensive that ends up, saving Moscow and whatnot in the winter of 41-42. This is episode number 6 of our Let's Play series, playing this DLC pack, and in this video we'll be fighting the second part of the Battle of Ukraine. It's the third scenario for the invasion of the Soviet Union. The first two we already played looked at the invasion in the Baltic states, the drive on Riga, and then the Army Group Center's pincer movement at Minsk. And in this video, we're going to be playing the second half of our Battle of Ukraine with our attempt to break through what is actually the most strongly held position at the start of the invasion of Russia in the Soviet Union. The Ukraine is where the Soviets put most of their troops, and as a result, or more of their troops than anywhere else, and as a result, the Germans faced a pretty tough challenge. Additionally, the Germans put most of their forces, at least their armored forces, in Army Group Center for the drive on Moscow, and so you had the strongest Russian armies versus kind of the second strongest German armies, which made it even tougher for the Germans. With that being said, this is picking up at the end of turn 3 as we move forward to turn number 4 in this particular battle. We've broken across the front line. We're starting to, outmaneuver some of the Russian border defenses, and we are in the process of trying to break into the rear and cut off a lot of Russian units from their supplies, and that's where we're picking things up. This was taken from a live stream from my Twitch channel. If you're interested in checking those out, there's a link in the description. And without further ado, let's jump right back into this game. That way they can't be switched over to reform any enemy troops, and we'll move forward to turn number 4. So they're going to move their armor in here, attack and overrun some of my infantry there. We'll get multiple attacks here against soft infantry units. They're going to get 3 at least infantry attacks. They wiped out this division. They'll probably swing over, wipe out this division. And so a complete break in my front here in the south. Although these guys are out of supply, so... Holy God, that's a lot of Soviet troops. They just launched a feint against them. No, they didn't actually launch an attack. Interesting. You don't unmount or unmount divisions in this. It's sort of abstracted, which I like. I think the idea of like having to tell them to get out of their trucks for a game of the complexity of Panzer General is a little bit silly, and they don't make you do that in this. So I think that's actually a positive. So we've broken across here. Curious if I can just swing up here into their rear. Doesn't seem the Soviets have any troops there, so like we can. We'll expand this breach. Try to have our infantry keep up. Our motorized troops east. The real shtick of this game is logistics. It's all about keeping your supply lines open and managing your trucks and your depots so that you can keep the forward momentum without getting bogged down. That's really what the focus of this game is. It's mobile operations and dealing with logistics and the challenges of distance while keeping the pressure up. Okay, so we're completely through in the south. We also get some Hungarian units, which are going to come online here. Or, yeah, they're Hungarian. Okay. We also get some truck depots coming in from the border also. It's logistics and supply lines, but not economy, Docs. There is no economy. So you can click here and you can see this is our current supply line. Rail lines are pretty much always in supply unless a bridge gets blown or unless an enemy unit is across the rail line to cut it off. So you can see these little supply depots represent this is in supply, and it's actually a source of supply. Whereas these little like dash lines represent this is a hex that is in supply based on where the current depots are or the current supply sources. And then when you get beyond that, you see these little squares with a dot in the middle, which represents being out of supply. And then when you've got like a sort of shape like this here, that represents a unit that's in that hex that will be out of supply next turn. Now, units that are in these lines with a little white dash at the red dash at the end, these units can go out of supply if it's considered disrupted. So they likely will have a supply source here because the disruption is low. As this red fills up the line here, that indicates that the disruption likelihood is higher, which means you could, in theory, be in like truck range, but due to various factors, bad logistics, bad roads, or things like that, you have a chance to be out of supply. Okay, we get the overrun in the breach here against those enemy units. Push across here, hit this enemy armor. We'll try and stem the breakthrough here with our infantry. We've actually got our mechanized force here, so let's do that. Let's use the SSLSSAH motorized division or mechanized division here to try and attack this enemy spearhead. So we attack there. We got a overrun. We'll attack this unit again. An overrun lets you attack multiple times in the same turn. So you can see here we attacked 3 times against that enemy spearhead, and effectively we drove it back. We'll have our infantry swing over here to pursue these enemy units and overrun them as well. And if we closed that gap as quickly as it opened up on our lines. Good news is, oh no, they're back in supply. And I don't have any more. They built depots over here that are allowing them to supply trucks to the west here. So these guys are all going to be back in supply next turn. I'd love to try and finish some of these units off because these units are out of supply 2 turns. This one 3 turns. But unfortunately, they're going to be back in supply. Can we take... Can we take Rhone in time? The 2K there. Drove it back. Armor here, breach. Well, we're probably not going to take it here because I'm only getting a 1-to-1 odd, and I lost my engineer unit, unfortunately, in that attack. I'm not going to be able to bring another unit up here to expand the attack. We could attack these guys again, but I could also swing these mechanized troops west now that our secondary objectives are beyond our reach. At least the next objective is beyond our reach to take in time. Could work on finishing off these enemy forces here. Right, have these infantry attack this tank unit. A 0-3 here and an overrun for that armored unit. Advance into the gap, attack here and a 0-2. Get our armor in here. We get that overrun. Take those prisoners. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could do here, these guys have extra supply. They're a veteran unit. I could advance them here to finish off this enemy or help us finish off this enemy division, but we're going to be out of supply. We're gonna be so suppressed that we likely won't survive an enemy counterattack. Let's move these guys under this rail line here. And let's go ahead. Can I drop supply any further east? I can't. So we'll just go ahead and increase this depot to size 3, which will get supply almost to our spearhead. All but this lead element will be without supply, and I will give them an airdrop next turn. I think that's everybody. Almost everybody is on a rail line at this point, so I'm going to pull these trucks back. It'll put some units out of supply, but just for the first turn. I'm going to do the same thing over here. So we're going to have 5 trucks to deploy next turn. Meanwhile, our headquarters here is going to advance to the east to get this spearhead back in communication so we can do things like bombardments and set piece attacks and things like that. All right. So we still have the 16th ID. Or motorized division. Can we swing south here and take this enemy depot? We can wipe out that enemy unit and take the depot. And by overrunning this depot, we are going to cut all these units back off from supply. So actually these guys who were going to be back in supply, by seizing this enemy supply depot, we're going to cut all of their supply out here. And so these guys will almost be fully suppressed. It's a very risky move to send this motorized division out here all on its own. However, it's gonna really aid us in crushing these guys very quickly, and that was a huge, I didn't even think about it, but it was a huge victory for us there, I think. And I'm hoping that this is the bulk of their units, and that once we break through these guys and this shell of troops near Rome, that the sort of the innards of this front are open, and we may still be able to take Zhytomyr and Proskuro on time. So we'll go ahead and end this turn. That was our last unit to move. Let's see what the enemy does here. I don't know if you can capture trucks, but when you capture, I mean, you can capture depots, but I don't know if you can capture trucks or not, to be honest. The enemy retook Dubno, which was that secondary objective, but we can't get the other secondaries anyway, and we already got the reward for taking it on time, so I'm not too worried about that. All right, so almost all of these guys you can see are fully suppressed. These little circles with no dot in the middle means they're completely like combat ineffective largely. So you can see that infantry unit just wrecked that enemy armor unit there. We're gonna go ahead and attack again, get an overrun so we can attack again. Go ahead and attack this guy, get another overrun, and every time we attack we gain experience, and these units do carry over battle to battle. So these basically cheap victories matter a lot. And units do get reinforced, like they regain their, their steps between battles and things like that. But if you have like a unit destroyed, you can re-raise it, but it comes in completely green. And so again, the more you destroy, the better you're off battle to battle. Okay, so those enemy units are done for. We're going to go ahead and advance across the bridge here, get a 0 to 4, wipe that division out. Now, some of the units are only out of supply for 2 turns, so some of them aren't completely suppressed yet. So I'm actually going to attack this enemy cavalry division that isn't completely suppressed. They're cornered, but not suppressed. That motorized force destroyed them, basically free. Enemy armored unit is destroyed now. take Brody. Enemy rear. Swing back this way. All right, so I'll probably leave these guys for finishing off in the next turn. But you can see, obviously, that had a huge impact for us. We're going to drop supply in this armored division, get them back in supply. Swing this motorized force around here to take this other enemy depot, which should keep almost all these forward deployed forces here still out of supply for another turn. Advance with our motorized force here, or armored force here. Got to make sure to keep the railways open because you can see the supplies will flow across this railway. So we're advancing on this other objective down here. Those guys are going to be out of supply, but I'll probably drop a depot here. So that'll get a lot of these forward deployed troops back in supply. We'll also drop we'll increase the size of this depot to 5 to get these units in the north back into supply. And so everybody back around here should be in supply again. Some of these units just need to get back on a railway. All right, so this armored unit will be back in supply next turn. I don't like the idea of not moving an armored unit. Let's go knock out this enemy headquarters unit. That gives us intel on where all the enemy forces are. So you can see by knocking that headquarters unit out, we get intel that there's a whole bunch of enemy troops here near Rhone, but there really aren't many troops to the east. There are individual infantry units. There's a couple of armored units to the east, but there's not that much left for the enemy. And that armor should be back in supply next turn. Motorized formation, move in that direction. Get these infantry along the railway. Okay, so those southern troops are good. Prisoners so they can't rejoin their units. Stragglers and units like that can actually rejoin their units. If you leave them long enough, they can make their way back to a headquarter and get reassigned as reinforcements. So you don't want to just leave them out there. Meanwhile, we've got 2 air units. On that motorized force. Okay, we drove them back. Curious to see what this enemy mechanized formation or infantry formation here does. We can likely bring full-blown supply next turn once we clear this railway of enemy troops. Could try and race these guys east to go for this other enemy depot. But I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of tied up here. I don't have the supporting infantry to come up and lessen the burden. I don't really want to attack this enemy armor at a 1-to-1 and cripple my own armored formations. So I think we'll hold there. Because if we take down here, I think we can race our armor north around the enemy rear if they concentrate over in front of Rhone. So we'll do that. We'll end the turn. We'll see what the next one has in store for us. There aren't really any more immediate objectives here. See, they counterattacked with some armor near Brody. Alright, these guys are completely suppressed and out of supply. We'll attack there and get the overrun. Attack again with another overrun. Armor back. Get the breach, push him back into a pocket, completely suppress him. Finish those guys off. Set these guys from the air. I do want to clear... Come on. I'm not doing anything with my air attacks. Just take the infantry casualties then. I don't really want to. Wow, okay. Well, we took a bunch, but we only had to attack them once before they completely fell apart. So that was a good result. Motorized drives east, and now we've got supply all along this railway to the east. Overrun and wipe this enemy unit out. This is actually kind of interesting because I'm almost stuck in a quasi-historical situation where I've got like motorized and armored units holding back enemy fronts rather than advancing with them. If this enemy armor is cut off, they're in a fortification, so they might well attack us and destroy this motorized unit. That is definitely a possibility. But we've at least pushed this armored, blocking force north, and now I think we're pretty close to being free to move east again. What's the supply situation here? Okay, they're okay. Meanwhile, these blocking troops are going to get... Oh, I got a 1-to-1? I didn't even realize that. Pull these guys back to the rail line. Go take those prisoners. push these guys to the rail line because they're out of supply. I'll do 0 to 2. Good result there. All right, so let's advance. Level up to elite, nice. All right, so we overran the troops here in the south. Could go for those prisoners, but we'll wait. So we've got a considerable amount of enemy troops in front of Proskuro, but we're actually way ahead of schedule there. On time is by turn 9. We'll keep driving these guys along this railway to the east so they can stay in supply. We actually have some cavalry here. That'll be nice to use if we get it out. Meanwhile, let's move this headquarters unit, von Rundsted's, forward. Or the headquarter unit. Duvno. All right, very good, very good. We'll probably pull this 5 depot back. I think everybody's kind of already attacked though, and I didn't even use my last air. So this enemy unit has T-26s, and it's a very strong unit, so I'm gonna bomb it. Should we do it up here? These guys have sappers and they're in trenches. You know what, let's just hit this tank division because they're the most threatening. All right, well that's it for turn number 6. Let's move to turn number 7. Enemy continues the counterattack in the north there against that infantry. So they continue to be a bit of a pain. They've got multiple mechanized divisions up there, still holding us up in the north. Fortunately for us, I think these guys are, they're not yet completely out of supply, but close. Getting stuck battling these enemy formations here. And I can't just blitz past them because I need to keep those supply lines clear, so... But I do have some of my infantry coming up, which should help. To that end, let's dig these guys in. That should help make them harder to dislodge. Can I... I want to let these panzers go. Alright, move this mechanized formation east. Let's bomb these tanks. Zero to 2 and a breach. Drove them back. We also took this bridge, that's key. They may swing in behind me, but I think I'm bringing up enough infantry that we can stop any jab they may make. Just cross this river and cut my supplies, but I don't really need to keep driving there. I think where we're at is good enough. Meanwhile, let's hit this armor. Can I make it into this town? I can't. Oh great, they're heavily entrenched. Well, I probably need infantry, or at least engineers, to deal with this town. My armor can do it, but it'll be bloody. I want to get this enemy armor off my flank. Those were casualties I didn't want to take. So we'll cut their supply. So hopefully we can take it next turn, which will be turn 8. We're supposed to take it by turn 9. We're not as far ahead of schedule as I would have liked. But remember, this battle's 15 turns, so I don't think the battle itself is in doubt. It's just a matter of how many points we get, if you will. Like, do we take it early enough? Trying to race all this infantry up here is kind of probably a waste of time. They're not going to get there in time. This would be an interesting multiplayer game, but what I will say is this game is best when you're on the offensive, when you're pushing the action. Being on the defensive in this game, the way the scenarios are designed is really, in my opinion, for single player and for you to be the attacking party. I'm not sure the game is well suited for you being on the defensive. I'm not aware of any plans for multiplayer though. Alright, so we'll attack their next turn. We'll probably swing some of our... These infantry can probably get an attack this next turn. It seems unlikely. Zidamar is the turn 9 objective. Ah, damn. So we're going to get Proskoro by turn 10, but turn 9 up here is unlikely unless that there's like nothing out this way, which I doubt. We'll see. Let's do Theater Recon. It's free. I can't sell it. I don't generally use it a whole lot. So there's really just one enemy unit in the objective at the moment. Let's see if we can break through. They counterattack that infantry, which sucks mainly because I wanted to use it to attack that town. They did what I said and they cut our rail line. They also swung a whole bunch of armor to the south. Kind of outmaneuvering me there. I don't really want to move my armor south there. Good thing is if this is unoccupied, I can move in and take the depot and resupply all of my troops that are within range of that depot. So I guess that's good. Alright, so they cut the rail line, but it didn't really matter. I think all these guys are going to be out of supply. They are. This entire strong formation they're building down there. Ah, I got that unit destroyed. In any event, though, these guys are going to be... We just took a whole bunch of their depots, which knocks them out for a period of time. Push this infantry east to support those armored units. Try and catch up with them. You know, we're going to have to slide our own infantry in here to stop this potential counterattack from the enemy. So we do have one more turn to take this on time. So to that effect, Let's hit the enemy armor here. Air. Wipe that guy out. Move those engineer troops forward. Those are going to be useful. Mostly just trying to keep my flank safe by moving some of these infantry cross country. Make sure there's nothing out there that I can't see. All these guys are moving. These guys dig in, they can. So we'll entrench these troops here. Pull those troops behind the river because they're kind of weak. Could attack 1-to-1 here, but I'm gonna wait to attack there until next turn. I think we've got this. Don't know that I want to bomb the city though. A little bit worried about all right, so we destroyed that enemy armored unit near Look, which is nice because now I can push my troops across the river and further east. So this enemy force to the north has probably been crushed, which should let me push these troops along the rail line to the east, still with plenty of time to take Zhytomyr, though we're not going to get to Kiev in 2 turns for that other secondary. So we'll win, it just won't be a massive victory, but we'll see what the next turn has in store for us. Yeah, Khan, bombing sometimes really sucks. You know, the game does have... Oh, shit, they wiped that division out. The game does have, especially for the Allies, I don't know if it has it for the Axis at all, but for the Allies, it does have a sort of strategic error attack, which lets you do massive suppression damage to units, but it has like a 5 hex radius, and so if you've got units adjacent, it's very hard to bomb the front line without hitting your own troops. It's actually really well done. That's on the Allied campaign. It comes with the base game, which is North Africa to Germany from the Western Allies perspective, starting in 43 to 45. Okay. Yeah, we weren't able to drive them back. So today would have been the last turn for a strategic or for a major victory or on-time victory. I just don't see any way to... I hate to lose the engineer unit there, but I kind of had to sacrifice him. Can we... Let's move this back one. I lost the casualties anyway. I was oh so careful to avoid them. Or took the casualties anyway. Alright, well we took the objective. And we took it on time. Gonna try and race out to Kiev by next turn, but we're not gonna get there. 0-2 on that enemy armor. Finish them off. All right, so I don't really want to take those losses just to take them. That was easy. By that advance just freed that rail line up. Nice. Thanks for the bits, Pro Console. Appreciate the support. Russ Bear WLM, thanks for the follow. Number 1 BSU fan, thank you for the sub 22 minutes ago. I think I missed you, but I do appreciate the support. Jampzors, thanks for the follow. And Thagon, I thanked you earlier for the resub. I do have a combined operations going here. Keep those guys on the rail lines where they can stay supplied. No need for long truck trips. Okay, so I think that's it for the units we need to move this turn. I think everybody's pretty much moved. Zittimer will try and make a play for it. I got 2 bombers left. I really should have bombed before. I'm not using my tactical air very wisely. Got a nice kill in there, though. So, destroyed one of the enemy units in that motorized formation. Alright, they're going to counterattack there. I drove my infantry back. But nothing really too bad in terms of losses on our end with that counterattack. I'm not sure where these guys are drawing their supply from. I guess it's probably this depot here. So we'll take it. Overrun it, get the supply back for our formations here. We'll move our mechanized troops. It gives them a 0-2, so that's nice. Oh, hell yeah. Breach. Take the objective on time. Not gonna get to Kiev in time. It's turn 10 already. Just finish those guys off. And then take some prisoners. Why did I do that? Just lost that division needlessly. Sometimes you gotta look before you click. Alright, let's hit this mechanized formation with air. Wow, we killed 3 units with air attacks. If I can get free experience by attacking this guy, I will. Okay. All right. Well, I think that'll do it. That's a victory for us. Could try and capture more enemy troops or whatever, but I don't know. Doesn't really seem to matter all that much. We don't really gain a whole lot by stack wiping them. I suppose we could gain some experience. That could be nice if we can do it cheaply. And they'll be cut off from supply within the turns we have to play with. So let's see what the AI does. Let's see how aggressive they get. Well, they did inflict some losses on that lead mechanized force there. But I think we gain more points if we keep fighting and wipe out the enemy. So let's continue the fight. Oh, there's an enemy, a strong enemy armored division there. Overrun. Nice little bit of experience there. Anything I can, any free battles I can get are, I think, a good idea. These suppression casualties don't really matter. Because their troops do carry this experience over. Just a question of whether we take losses here, but most of these attacks we're taking no losses. Alright. Not all of these units you'll fight with again, but many of them you do. Some of these guys are going to be out of supply, but most of them should be in. Keep fighting. We'll try and wipe out the entire enemy force on this map. Probably should have hit the enemy armor over there to the east, but we'll see. Let's end the turn. They didn't do anything. Okay. Let's continue fighting, boys. And we finished off this enemy pocket. So that's a victory. Let's hit this unit with multiple airstrikes. Didn't really do much damage, but we can get a 0-1 attack. We did lose a casualty there, unfortunately. Took a casualty there. This one was only suppression. So just suppression there. Okay. Artillery is modeled as like an attachment. So this division here, you can see the 24th ID has a 18 centimeter artillery unit there. And the way that works with artillery in the game is when you move a unit, you cannot use, it's towed artillery, at least that unit is. There are self-propelled guns, but when you have a towed artillery unit, if you attack before you move, that artillery will automatically fire in support of your attack. You also, if you're in range of a headquarters unit, can order a bombardment command, which will suppress the enemy unless they're too well dug in. But if you move a unit, then what happens is you will not be able to use the towed artillery. So if the troops are in movement, you can't use the towed artillery that turn. You've got to wait till the next turn. And so that's how artillery works in the game. They pick whatever target your infantry attacks, or if you choose a bombardment command, then they bombard whatever unit you select. I think that was the last enemy unit on the map. Oh, nope, they've got the units up here. So like there's a bombardment command right here, suppressive fire. If I click that and then chose the enemy to attack, then they would bombard those troops. The AI artillery still kind of does the same thing. Again, if the AI has towed artillery and they attack you, that artillery automatically fires in support of the attack. Sometimes they will order a bombardment command as well ahead of another unit attacking. It all kind of depends. All right, well, I think that's the end of this battle. So we took 3 of the 5 secondaries, and we took both the primaries. One of the primary was a day late, or a turn late. The other one was on time. So a good victory there will end the scenario. You can see here we get a We're Back campaign medal. Take Lou, an Army Group South scenario. In 1939, the Soviet Union and the Third Reich destroyed the Polish state and split its territory between them. During the invasion, German forces reached Lul, but withdrew since the city lay within the agreed-upon Soviet zone. Now it's 1941, and the Wehrmacht returns with no intention of withdrawals. It's a campaign milestone, so I guess it's because we took this secondary objective on time. We didn't get the gold Iron Cross because we didn't take all of the primary objectives on time. We killed 55 enemy steps. We took 101 prisoners, so 156 enemy casualties to 45 casualties of our own. All but one of those casualties were German units. We did lose 1 Hungarian step. And when they say casualties, I believe they represent each individual little dot here, or one of these supporting units, not an actual whole division. But with that being said, everyone, we're going to go ahead and wrap this video up here. I hope you guys are enjoying our look at this new DLC, which comes out today. It's a DLC that adds a bunch of new units. It adds more than 20 new historical battles. I believe there's also some alternate history in there as well. And it's available on Steam. So if you are interested in checking that out, there's a link in the description to the Steam page. You can find, as I said earlier, the link to my Twitch channel if you want to participate in these streams in the future. And until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I'm out.